Hey everyone, welcome to this Zest Wellness webinar. What we're going to do is we are going to just wait 1 minute exactly, 60 seconds. We'll allow some of our everyone who registered to come on in and get their settings going. And then we'll get started with Naval for this webinar. That's a continuation of our Wellness from Home series. So like we said, give us just 60 seconds here. We'll allow more individuals to roll in, and then we'll get started. All right, everyone. That said, what we're going to do now is we're going to transition into the main event that we've all been waiting for with Mr. Naval Miller. To kind of give some background right now is this webinar, courtesy of Colonial Group International, and everything that encompasses is a part of the Zest Wellness program, and specifically a part of our webinars and the Wellness from Home series. And I definitely want to, myself, my name is Nathan, and I definitely want to shout out other members of our Zest Wellness team who make things like this possible. So I'm literally going to say their names right now because they've been doing a tremendous job, and whether it be all these different tools and resources the Zest Wellness team has been making, it's all been because of them. So we have Jacqueline, Allie, Glenn, Sharon, Donovan, Katie, and of course what we'll witness with our time together right now, Naval. So what Naval is going to talk to us about is exactly what you see on the screen right now: living lean, balanced, and learning on the fly. That encompasses financial health. You'll see that encompasses work-life balance. It encompasses being productive, being effective. And so thinking about the whole person, because we all come to work as the whole worker, right? Mind, body, spirit. To give a little background about Naval, when I always chat with him or being a team member with him, it's his drive to continuously grow. And then he balances that with walking the talk by studying accounting, and reading such robust books. Like, if anyone knows The Wealth of a Nation, it's one of Naval's favorite books, and such a robust, large book. But yeah, Naval accomplishes it like it's nothing, and so he can help give us this webinar today. So with that said, we're going to now transition to Naval. And Naval, the floor is yours to make each and every one of our days just a little bit easier.
All right, man, Nate, thank you so much. You do a great job of overselling individuals, I must say, Nathan. Thank you so much, though. But yeah, we are part 3 right now. Nathan, I must give kudos to you as well. You've been doing a tremendous job hosting these sessions. We are now in our 3rd series of the work from home series, and you've put this together and you've planned this in a very short period of time. So also kudos go to you too. All right, so we're going to start off with living lean. So we're going to discuss why you should be living lean during COVID-19, and we're going to share some tips on how to live lean. And it was a funny point in regards to living lean. So I had a lot of friends who contacted me, and they were like, "Oh, so you can teach us how to be fit and eat the right food?" But nope, I'm actually speaking about budgeting during COVID-19. So you're thinking about your budget in living lean, stretching that $1, right? So, but nonetheless, if you're interested in knowing about nutrition, we had an awesome podcast done by Donovan Ingram. It's called Control Your Gut. He was actually part one of the Work from Home series. So I'll encourage you guys to check that out as soon as you finish with this podcast. But we're talking about financial wellness right now, work-life balance, and learning on the fly. All right, let's go to the next slide. All right, so work-life balance, we'll be discussing the importance of it and share some tips to maintain a proper work-life balance and staying productive whilst working from home. The next we'll also be discussing learning on the fly. What is learning on the fly? Online learning challenges and benefits, and how can I learn on the fly? As we know, a lot of our brick and mortar classrooms now have turned into virtual classrooms. And I've been doing this for the past 3 years with the University of West Indies, and I have a lot of friends who have transitioned from the University of the Bahamas being in an actual classroom now, and they've bring that classroom into their homes. So now there's a lot of self accountability. So I'm going to share some tips with you all as well to stay productive and address any challenges in regards to learning on the fly. So let's go to the next slide. All right, we're going to go on the slide right after that. All right, why living lean during COVID-19? Well, first of all, this is a pandemic. This is unprecedented times. I had a brief discussion with my grandmother over Skype last night, and she's almost 80 years old. And I've asked her, I said, "Grandmother, have you ever experienced anything similar in your lifetime? What us millennials and Generation X's are experiencing right now?" She's like, "Not a day like it." So this is unprecedented times for the modern era, modern society. I'm sure none of us has lived through the era of the Spanish flu. So this is unprecedented times for us. Also, a lot of things are not sure or guaranteed. And if you've been staying abreast with the global news and even the United States news, you're seeing that United States they have now given out $20 million. I mean, they have gave out benefits to 20 million people who are unemployed right now in the United States. The UK has experienced 1 million people unemployed there. Even here locally in the Bahamas is rumored to in future experience maybe 30 to 50% unemployment rate. So a lot of things are not sure. I know it's playing on the mental capacity of a lot of individuals right now. You're working right now and just wondering if you're going to get a call tomorrow or the call the next week. So yes, this is one of the key reasons why we should be living lean, because a lot of uncertainty moving ahead. Next, also why we should be living lean. We want to receive the maximum satisfaction out of the limited resources, and a lot of economists refer to satisfaction as the utility. How you're going to receive the maximum utility out of the limited resources, and those resources may be current assets or liquid as cash. How are you going to receive that maximum satisfaction out of that $1, right? So I'm going to share some tips on that as well, and that's a real important one of the key reasons why we should be living lean. So let's go to the next slide, Nate.
Yeah, and I just have to jump into Val because that word you just said was so interesting, that utility word. Do you mind just kind of reiterating that point? Because as soon as you said that, my mind was kind of like sparks, fireworks were going off.
So
Yeah, that was interesting.
it's more of a lot of economists use that word as that's you have law jargon and you have doctor jargon. So they consider satisfaction as a utility. So that's the word they use in replacement of satisfaction. If you go ahead and ask me the origin of that word, that'll be a little tough task for me. But learning in economics, they refer to satisfaction as utility.
And then you're mentioning making the most of existing resources, maximizing.
Yes, definitely. You want to maximize straight through and through during COVID-19. If you want to spend that $1 and you want to receive the maximum satisfaction, the maximum pleasure, whatever you're seeking for that $1 accomplished, you want to receive the maximum satisfaction out of that. And that's how individuals should be thinking right now. Not just spending a dollar just for a dollar's sake. You want to spend that $1 and receive the maximum satisfaction from that $1. All right. So first, in regards to living lean, we want to create a plan, right? It's similar. Me and Nathan always have this conversation about football, right? I did not know he was a big time football fan until yesterday. So me and him had a little, football 101 discussion. And when teams, like for example, the New England Patriots or the Denver Broncos, before they go into competition, they create a plan. The Los Angeles Lakers, before they face an opponent, they create a plan. And the plan varies based on the situation. So in regards to a worldwide pandemic, before you do anything in regards to living lean or budgeting, you must create a plan. And then the first part of your plan, you need to assess your financial status. So you need to list all your current and long-term liabilities, or for example, for a household, we'll consider them current and long-term expenses. Current expenses will be obligations that need to be satisfied within that 1 year period. So, for example, right now in your household, you have your utility, as in your lights, your water bill. Also, some people have gas bill. You might have a maintenance fee if you live in a gated community. They will be considered your current expenses, stuff that you need to satisfy within that 1 year period. And then when we look at long-term liabilities or long-term expenses, we consider them to be your mortgages, which go for 25 to 30 years. And definitely you want to list those down and assess those, because if you in any economic hardship, by maybe you might have lost your job or lost an extra stream of income and you have to quote unquote live lean, you may have to have these tough discussions with your financial planner or your loan officer. And I know it's a lot of deferred loan payment programs right now. I think majority of all commercial banks in the Bahamas right now are entertaining deferred payment plans. And it's a good, and that's why it's important to list that, because then again, you may have to go ahead and assess and say, hey, I'm not able to satisfy this obligation. Can we look at the deferred mortgage program until on the quote unquote things turn around for us, right? So you definitely want to go ahead and list those. Also, you want to list in total your current assets, and your current assets are things that are liquid or can become liquid in a matter of 12 months. And when I say liquid, I'm referring to cash. So you may have cash, yes. Also, you may have for your current assets, you may be able to sell a car. You could do that within a 1 year period, and that could turn into cash. And then also you want to take into account for your long-term assets. A lot of individuals here in the Bahamas, I know, have generational properties. You may want to use that right now, and this is maybe worst case scenario, to say, hey, I might have to use this property to as a collateral to borrow more cash, because right now I'm in economic hardship. And it's a case by case situation, right? So I'm not just advising everybody to go ahead and sell one of the most lucrative assets you could have with never depreciates, as in your property or real estate. But you may be in a situation where you have to have these tough discussions with your financial provider, your financial institution, sorry, or even with your family. These are the type of the situation we are in right now, and it's no shame to have these type of conversations. It may be a need right now, so you definitely want to take into account for that. Secondly, you want to list your essential and non-essential items. So, for example, I have a statistic here from the U.S. in regards to non-essentials. They said an average American in the United States spends $1,497 a month on non-essential items. And let me even take it further, or bring it locally here. We have the governor of Central Bank, John Rowe, revealed in the year 2017. He said nearly 90% of deposit accounts held by residents in the Bahamas has less than $5,000. So it just shows me as well that individuals need to practice some form of financial prudence right now. Definitely, you want to list off the essential and non-essential items. The non-essential items may be like takeout meals, the restaurant visits, well, the movies. Well, unfortunately, you won't be able to attend the movies right now. They're closed too. But list those items, right? And then you might have to now look at saying, hey, I may have to deplete my entertainment expenses. I can't be going out as often anymore. I may have to deplete me and the wife visiting the restaurant. We may have to make bring the restaurant at home, create your own meals and stuff like that. So it's important to list those essential and non-essential needs and then prioritize them. And obviously, during this time right now, you should be prioritizing essential over non-essential by far. Lastly, emergency savings account is vital. If I mean, I'll suggest this to anybody who lives anywhere in the world, but definitely in the Caribbean, you must think about an emergency savings account. Why? We experience the most economic shock than any other part of the world. We have hurricanes, or we may experience hurricanes year to year. We're walking into the hurricane season again, and it was startling to know that victims from the Hurricane Dorian impact what we had just last year, September. A lot of individuals didn't have enough funds to even mobilize or even move from the island during the approach of the hurricane. So, it is important for Caribbean people to think about having an emergency savings account. And if you want any advice from me, I know you have a lot of, say 5% of your salary or 10% of your salary, and even have a particular calculation for it. But I set my emergency savings account similar to what a CFO would do at a business. For example, a CFO for my accounting studies should have at least 6 months of expenses saved. So whatever your monthly expenses is per month, times that by 6, and that's how much should be on your emergency savings account on an annual basis. You have a lot of moving parts in regards to the pandemic. When hurricane happens, you have a lot of moving parts there as well. And you need to be able to say, hey, can I survive the next 6 months without any other form of income? Can I cover my necessary expenses for the next 6 months with with not one more dollar trickling in? And that's how I set up it. It's a CFO type of guideline. A lot of CFOs who may be listening to me right now will agree. And then, you have the 5% and you have the 10% and you have the other calculations as well. But for me, I go by the 6 months. I want to be able to cover at least 6 months of expenses.
Okay. And Naval, two questions for you. Do you recommend the personal side of things as well for that emergency savings, as the first question being 6 months of duration on the personal or individual level as well?
Yeah, definitely. So, for example, from a personal level, when you try to calculate what your 6 months of emergency savings should be, you should account for only essentials. You definitely want to not, I mean, if going out is important to you and you think that's a very important expense to account for, then you go for it. But for me, I'm accounting for essential items. So you definitely would have enough money to visit the grocery store for the next 6 months. You definitely would have enough funds to maybe pay off your mortgage, obviously, but importantly, enough money for commute, gas funds. So you're accounting for your essential items when you account for your emergency savings.
And then the second question being for someone who, seeing the words assets and liabilities might be such, new terminology for them. If they had a pen and paper right now and you could walk them through from a very, very basic level what like a balance sheet looks like, or how you would write down maybe tracking your assets and liabilities. Do you want to maybe, as a hypothetical scenario, say like, hey, like these are examples of assets, these are examples of liabilities?
Yeah, sure. So when you look at in regards to liabilities, that would be anything that you owe from past obligations or past satisfaction. So liabilities, people would be considered like, or expenses, people would be considered as your mortgage. That would be something that you owe. If you have a loan on a car, I had this great question in regards to this. An individual asked me if I own a car, but I paid for it cash. I don't owe a bank for it. I don't have a car note payment or all those sorts. Well, that car would be considered an asset. However, if that car has a loan on it where you're paying if you're paying because you borrowed from a financial institution to purchase that car, that car is now, well, the expenses of that car is considered a liability, right? So that's one. I had that real good question yesterday, and I had to break it down for an individual. For your assets, that'll be anything that you owe that brings benefits. So things that bring satisfaction of, as the economists say, or a benefit to you. So, for example, the same car situation. If the car you own, you don't owe the bank for it, that car is an asset. Reason being is a benefit. It'll actually help you with commuting from work and home and vice versa, right? So that is be considered an asset. Cash is considered an asset. Property is considered an asset. Equipment, if you own a business, that is considered an asset. However, if you owe based on you borrowing from a financial institution for that property, plant, and equipment, that would be considered a liability or expense. All right, great stuff. All right, so we on conserving energy. And just to pause for a second, I just wanted to share with you guys a lot of tips I'm sharing with you are stuff that you have control over, right? So I'm going to be sharing with you. I want to give you the power, right? I want to share the simple stuff or simple things that you can do to stay in control of your money. Okay. So on this section here, we have conserving energy. So it's inevitable. Everybody's working from home. Is inevitable at the end of this month, the end of April and the end of May. The lockdown of the Bahamas is extended until the end of May. You will see an increase in your electricity bill. You will see an increase in your water bill, and those bills are considered a variable. Reason being, they increase based on consumption or usage. It's not a fixed bill. For example, when you consider your rent, right? If you stay within your apartment one day or 30 days, the rent stays the same for that 1 month. But however, your electricity bill will increase based on usage, and that will be considered a variable cost. Are you in control of a variable cost? Definitely, you are in control of a variable cost. So my first tip in regards to conserving energy is turn off your lights, fans, and electronics when you leave the room. There's no need to have your fans, lights, and electronics on when you're not in that room. I have a friend. She has a good sized home, and she has two kids, and she has one kid in one room watching television, and the other kid in the other room watching television, and she's in the other room doing work. And I was like, listen, you need to consolidate one of those rooms. You need to maybe put two of those kids in that one room, and maybe say, you guys have to have a joint agreement on what you're going to watch. All right. During this time at home, you picture this: the 40 hours you usually have at work, using your work phone, using your work AC, using your work computers, right? That's not a bill to you. Think about bringing that type of bill from that one person. Think about bringing that home. Think about bringing that 40 hours of electricity usage for you. Think about bringing that home, right? And now you're going to see the importance of why you hear sometimes the CFO says, if you're leaving the office, please turn off the electronics, or please turn off the light, all right? Also, you want to air dry your clothes instead of using your dry machine. That's if possible. I know some communities don't allow such to air dry your clothes like on a clothesline. But if you have the capacity to do so, I encourage it. Your dryer machines really rack up your electricity bill at the end of the month, right? So you definitely want to be cognizant on how you use that. Also, close your blinds and drapes and shades during the hottest part of the day. You definitely, I think it's around 10 a.m. here in Nassau. I live down in Coral Harbor. I experience a good sun rays, so I definitely have the blinds closed during those certain hours. Now it's getting real hot, right? So you definitely want to make sure your room is very cool, and that's going to help you feel comfortable working from home. Turn off your dishwasher dry cycle and let your dishes air dry. The picture right there says it all, So if you have one of those dish racks, use that. There's no need to use here. Go ahead and use your dishwasher. Use your energy saving settings on your computer. I have located mine just 2 weeks ago, and I've been using that. You will be amazed how much electricity your laptops and computers may be pulling right now while you're at home. Matter of fact, I saw a statistic in regards to energy consumption. Even having your device off, but still having it plugged in, will increase your energy consumption from between 5 to 10%. For example, right now I'm looking at my microwave in my home and it's off, but the plug is in and the light on the microwave right now is still blinking. That is still consuming energy, right? So we definitely want to go ahead and plug that out before the day is in, because I don't definitely don't want my electricity bill to raise by that. So that's one key point as well. All right, grocery and meal planning. This is something that my wife made sure I highlight because she has an issue with me eating up all the snacks. And science proves that when things become very easily accessible, you tend to overconsume. So in regards to your meal plan and grocery bill, I know a lot of people right now, you're stockpiling grocery. I definitely want to touch on that point too. But to make sure that you're not overspending and you're spending within budget, you want to take an inventory of what items you already have. If you have maybe 3-4 cans of cream, there's no need to go ahead and purchase it, but you may not know because you haven't taken active inventory of your cupboards, right? You want to browse grocery sales. Even though we are locked down at home, I've seen a lot of grocery vendors and even farmers who are offering great sales. I know Chichoni Farm is offering some great sales, and also you have Field the Fork Farms. They're offering great sales as well. So you want to browse those grocery sales. Remember, I told you about how we're going to receive the maximum satisfaction or limited resources. That's a key part of it, and browsing grocery sales. Don't buy too much of the perishable items. I've seen this happen a few times visiting the grocery stores. Items that maybe expire within a week or two, and you go and you over purchase them, and you find that you have wastage at the end of the first week. That the items go spoil, and that's just wastage of money. Check expiry dates when you're visiting the grocery stores. I know you're in a rush because the grocery stores are really full. Where people take time to check your expiry dates on these items. So just pick them up, check and look, because you might be purchasing something right now or maybe expire within a month, and definitely you want that thing to stretch. So you want to check those expiry dates. Create a grocery list. This will not only help you with budgeting, but this also will help with you expediting the process during your grocery visit. You want to, a lot of this long lines at the grocery stores. I think it's vital for individuals to go ahead and create a grocery list before even visiting the grocery store, because this will prevent the long waits for the other individuals waiting outside, and also it definitely will save you money. When you're purchasing your grocery items, prioritize the essential items over the non-essential items. Yes, I want to make tacos tonight, right? I might need some Parmesan cheese and whatever have you. But right now, maybe water is important. I need to prioritize water. I don't want to break myself. Whereas I purchased all these ingredients for tacos, but I don't even have water in my house. That's an example of prioritizing a person not prioritizing essential items over non-essential. Schedule your meals throughout the day. Key importance. I just made mention that I have an issue with sometimes over consuming meals because it's here. So I'm digging into the snacks, and I give my wife a headache about that. So she's put me on an active schedule. She says, just like how you go to work when you eat breakfast, lunch, and dinner, you will do the same here. You're not going to be eating 2 lunches just because you could just go in the fridge and get it. So schedule your meals and do it for your kids as well. It's important now to keep them on a schedule right now. You want to give them their breakfast, lunches, and dinner. You don't want to, I'm not for a kid, but I'll speak for an adult in regards to this. Say, for example, you eat breakfast, and then maybe 10 o'clock you find yourself in the fridge again, and then 12 o'clock is lunch, you eat lunch, and then you find yourself in the fridge again, and then you have dinner. Then you over consuming meals inside your fridge or your cupboard. You will find yourself visiting the grocery store within that 1 week period, even though you have 2 weeks of grocery stockpile.
And Novell, what can you share with us about the idea of panic shopping, if that's relevant during this time or not?
Yeah, so I would I know it's especially for Caribbean people, anytime is a crisis, we usually stockpile food, right? We stockpile food, we visit the gas station even though you're told to stay home. And we stockpile those items. What happens is when you panic buy, for example, and just paint a scenario for you. If I was purchasing on a regular basis 1 week of items, now I'm going to this grocery store now this one visit, I'm purchasing 3 weeks of items, and say everybody does that, right? What's going to happen is you're going to put a strain on the retailer, right? Now there's retailer says, hey, I'm low on eggs, I'm low on tuna, I need these faster from the wholesaler. Then what happens is you put the whole strain on the wholesaler, because now the wholesaler got to ask the manufacturer to say, hey, could we produce these items much more faster, because now the demand has increased. What happens is when you have an increase in demand, then inflation occurs. They have issues right now, not only in the United States, but in India and other parts of the world where inflation is happening. Individuals, because of their panic buying, are causing prices of food to increase tremendously, because now the manufacturer, the wholesaler, and the retailer got to output even double in a shorter period of time. So now, if I am the manufacturer, and just put a scenario there, chicken, right? So the demand for chicken just went up twofold, right? I need to start pushing out more chicken. So now I may need more laborers. I may need more heavy equipment. I may need more eggs, chicken, whatever it is to produce or to farm feed those chickens and get them output. That needs to be doubled. And when that is doubled, then your prices are going to fall in the wholesaler, and the wholesaler want to maintain his profits. He's going to push that price on the retailer, and the retailer wants to retain his profit, so he's going to put that price on you. So you definitely want to be cognizant in regards to panic buying. The government of the Bahamas and the Prime Minister, President Trump, individuals have addressed that concern repeatedly about panic buying, how it's not wise. I want to just share that tip with you as well, if you wanted the other reason why you shouldn't be panic buying. All right, so let's go down to workplace balance. All right, so the term workplace balance used to describe how workers distribute their time between professional and personal obligations. And now this may be a tough scenario to do right now whilst working from home, but it's still important, the same type of workplace balance you maintained at work, and thinking that everybody have proper workplace balance, you want to still continue that. I know you feel like you're in the comfort of your home, you feel much more relaxed, but you might not still be practicing workplace balance even at home. So I'm going to share some tips with that, okay? So let's go to the next slide. All right, so the importance of workplace balance. First, it helps to reduce stress, helps to prevent burnout, helps to prevent family neglect. It also helps to increase productivity. And then two, tomorrow is not promised. So you definitely want to spend time with friends and family when you working. But however, I wanted to share this solid statistic with you. I just received from Bloomberg just the other day. It mentioned that individuals working from home right now has increased productivity, and because you're in the comfort of your home or your own home, individuals are, they are not closing their laptops. It's not like you to work when you just got unplugged, leave a physical building, and you'll be able to physically differentiate the difference between work and home. That I have to leave work, go in my car, and commute home, and I know home is a place where I should rest and spend time with my family. Well, this scenario has where your home and work is in one place. So individuals are having a confusion with that. They, yes, productivity has increased, but also Bloomberg has stated that more than 40% of individuals in the United States are experiencing burnouts right now, working from home since COVID-19. So you definitely want to be cognizant of that. You want to make sure that you maintain a proper workplace balance even while working from home. All right, create a designated workplace. This is very, very important. It helps to create a proper work environment. It also helps productivity. It separates personal space from professional space and a limited amount of distractions. I really, really do support this, especially if you are able to and you have kids. I have a friend, he's a partner of the law firm, and he's listening right now. He's a partner of the law firm, and as soon as the lockdown happened, I called up, and because I don't have any kids, I called him up and said, hey, how are you maintaining how are you dealing with working at home? And he has 2 young kids, and he says, thank God I'm able to have an office. And a lot of people don't have that type of privilege or benefit. But nonetheless, if you could find a place, like for me, I've been blessed with we have a little cabana outside Kudos to my father-in-law in regards to that. And I'm able to differentiate and say, hey, you know what, I'm going to take my work outside. And I know once I go under that cabana, that is work. And once I step back into my home, that is home. That's the time I spend time with my wife. If I have any reading to do, watching TV with her, whatever the case is. But it's vitally important to do so. You don't want to bring your work into your home structure, because that's gonna cause you to be that individual that's gonna get that burnout. That individual who's just popping open a laptop because you feel comfortable working from your bed because you've been doing it so long. You're gonna pop open a laptop, start typing, and then you're gonna go into that burnout state. So you definitely want to separate or create a designated workspace. All right. And tips to maintain a proper work-life balance: set boundaries and work time. Set time to begin and end work. For me, I feel very comfortable. I'm a real good morning person. I could wake up at 7 a.m. and push out work, and maybe I could work at 7 to 5 or 9 to 5. And that's my comfortable work hours. Well, while I was working from home, if you have the ability to do so, I know a lot of individuals are now not only trying to work but also trying to take care of their kids, making sure they're staying on a set regimen and routine in regards to accessing school material, creating lunches for them, and those sort. So it'll be good to have a conversation maybe with your manager, your superior, and setting the right appropriate time to work and maybe to execute work. So set time to begin and end work. Don't try to work beyond your schedule. A lot of people are tempted to do so because you're working from home. Like I said, you would, pop open your laptop just because you're in bed and you feel like you have a reason to do so. It's nothing else to do. But don't try to work beyond your scheduled time. Refrain from house chores. This is one of my issues now. Like a lot of times, if I'm doing work or whatever have you, and they come back in the house, I'm tempted to say, hey, I see a dishes there or a plate there, a cup there, I need to go ahead and wash that. But if you have the room to do so, you can, but that will definitely affect your productivity as well, because you will find yourself not only washing one dishes, you'll find yourself sweeping, and then you find yourself mopping. You might clean the whole room and then see 5 o'clock hit that you don't even push your one period of work. So definitely want to refrain from doing that if possible. Do work only in your designated workspace. That was a slide I just touched previously. And then speak to your family about your work schedule. I have conversations with my wife to let her know that, hey, I have a meeting at 10, I have a meeting at 12, whatever have you, via conference call, and hence the reason why I'm going to be outside, yada, yada, yada. And it's good to have that. And if you don't have that privilege, it's good to share that with your family, because that time, your family will respect and say, hey, mommy and daddy have a meeting right now. I can't be interrupting them. I need to maybe stay in the room until this time period. So have that conversation and explain to them the importance of your work schedule. So we have a solid communication base straight across the household. Okay. All right, and staying productive. Start your day the right way. I usually start my day with a healthy breakfast. I'm always reminded by Mr. Donovan, who's the nutritionist on our team. He asked me, "What did you have for breakfast today?" And he holds me accountable. I know a lot of people don't have that type of privilege, but start your day the right way. It's important to have breakfast. If you want to start your day with a workout routine, that gets those endorphins released and that hormone start to kick in, and you start to have a real positive feeling towards your day. You're ready to tackle the whole day. So whatever routine you're comfortable with doing, and you're satisfied that is the right way, continue to do so. All right. Make a list of your tasks and prioritize them. So you have tasks at home. Tasks for work while you're working at home. It's important to list your tasks and say, hey, these are the most important ones I need to address. Maybe the turnaround time on that is within the next 24 hours. I need to satisfy that. So you definitely want to make that list and prioritize that. Give yourself breaks when necessary as well. You don't want to go into that burnout stage. Like I just mentioned earlier, Bloomberg has said 40% of individuals working from home are experiencing that burnout. So you want to give yourself those breaks here and there. Get up and move. Every hour, squeeze in a few jumping jacks. If you can't do the jumping jacks, just get up and move. Walk around, create some kind of fluidity in your body. And, it's good to maybe walk away sometimes from that email, to think about it before you go and reply back. And sometimes just, just walking to get those endorphins, like I mentioned earlier, that keeps your day constant in a positive mood. Establish an effective communication line with your team. I'm privileged to have awesome guys like Nathan and Donovan, those and Ali, those are part of my team, and Sharon, those are part of my team. And we have an effective communication line that we established a little while back because each one of us work in different jurisdictions. So whatever communication line is effective for you and your team, you may be able to communicate through WhatsApp, emails, whatever have you. But establish that effective line. That I know that if I go on this communication line, I'm able to reach so and so. All right. And then check in with your team regularly. And you don't have to always be in with work. It's, sometimes people need that mental support to just check in and say, hey, how are you doing? That's your good buddy at work. You should keep that constant while you're working from home as well. Check in with them, talk to them. They may just want somebody to talk to. This is a time when a lot of people are experiencing some form of loneliness to say, hey, I'm working from home. You may not be privileged to have, your better half and kids there with you. So it's good to, check in with your friends and family. You don't always have to be about work. And then create a routine. It's good to create that consistent routine whilst working from home, and that keeps things constant and keeps things that not normal state. The same type of routine maybe what you had at work. Create a routine similar to that. That keeps you motivated and keeps you productive as well.
And on to this, I'm very excited for this next section, Naval. So take it away with this one, because this is where you shine.
All right, Nate. So I'm speaking from first-hand experience when I talk about learning on the fly, distance learning, and online learning. So first of all, before I begin, I want to send kudos to all of the teachers out there right now who are maintaining strong communications with your kids, who are working in this new environment, and just taking the bull by the horn and running with it. I want to send kudos to all the teachers right now. I think you guys are doing a tremendous job. I just looked on Instagram the other day. I saw my god kid, he's like 3 years old, and he's in front of an iPad, and I was asking his father, like, what he's doing. He's like, he's at school. So kudos to you. I know it's a challenge right now, but kudos to you guys. So online learning or distant learning is without the physical interaction with your classmates or lecturers, right? So you're on a virtual classroom, a virtual platform. It's something I've been doing for the past 3 years with the University of West Indies. I have friends, and I've developed friendships and even have a few mentors now in Jamaica, in Trinidad and Tobago. Some of them are former politicians and those sorts, but it's, it provides you with much more benefits than just being able to access digital data for your learning capacity. You build some form of camaraderie, and I want to share some tips with you all on learning in this new environment you guys are exposed to now. All right, so online learning, it presents a lot of benefits. First, it's very, very flexible, right? You basically will be able to set your own learning calendar. If you are able to visit class here and there, or based on how your availability is set up, it grants you that type of benefit. Usually, online learning is also cost effective. I don't want to touch on that point because I just want to speak about tips to effectively learn online. And some of the challenges I want to touch on is this time management. You definitely have a lack of motivation sometimes. We're learning online, and you definitely have to have self accountability. So I wanted to share that with you as well. All right, so one of the key tips in regards to learning online, you want to get organized. So parents right now, if your kid has to access a learning app, you want to ensure that they are able to access this course material digitally. So you want to make sure that you have the correct internet access in your home via Wi-Fi, whatever have you. Or I know some of the tablets here in the Bahamas, these tablets come out now with hotspots. So you want to make sure that the connectivity is there for the individuals or for the kids to access it. You want to set up a workspace space as well for them. It's good to keep them in a constant and proper routine for them as well. So you want to make sure that they're practicing proper ergonomics and they're sitting correctly in the chair. Bring that classroom home to them if possible. You want to keep things normal with them. Create a calendar of reminders. You may have situations where some of these kids right now have quizzes and exams, and you may lose track of the day because you're not constantly reminded from a teacher until you open up that app. So it's important to set calendars of reminders. And this goes to my University of the Bahamas friends as well, to set calendar reminders for important events. And then also you want to create a routine. If you this is going to actually spill into the next slide, but if you're a morning learner or afternoon learner, you want to create your routine with that in regard. All right, so I just touched on it. When and how do you learn best? So when I'm a morning learner, I feel like that's my strongest time is in the morning when I'm bright and early 7 a.m. I had a quick run, had some coffee, and I'm on the go. Them endorphins are licking, and I can learn effectively. But you may be an individual who burn the midnight candle. You may be an individual that learn effectively at 12, 10, and 11 and 12 right into the morning. I would not suggest that, because you want to make sure that you keep a proper sleep routine. You want to make sure that you get just 6 to 8 hours of sleep. But if that's the effective way you learn, then go for it. But yeah, so people learn different ways. It's not a one size fit all. How you learn? You may learn better through video tutorials. I'm a good learner through video tutorials. I like to see things actually in action. That actually helps me to learn better. Or some people may be good text-based readers, or people may be good listeners as well. So like I said, it's not a one size fit all situation in this regard. You just got to take the bull by the horn based on how you learn effectively. Okay.
And Neville, so it sounds like you're recommending, find what works for you, and it's okay if that's different from others, but what's okay, it's okay that something unique might work for you, and to almost double down on your strengths like that.
Yes, definitely. Everybody is tailored a different way. For example, I am a good morning learner. I've mentioned, and my wife is a candlelight learner. Like, she will stay up in the wee hours, and that's her effective go time, right? So it's not a one size fit all, and I tried that actually, because I tried. I said, hey, let me just try this routine, and then I was like, that is not working out for me. So yeah, try enough routines as well. Try a demo and try to do it in the morning or in the afternoon or midnight, and then find the one that is effective for you. All right. Well, next key point: accountability in online schooling. For university at the Bahamas, or if you're in a university right now and it went to the virtual platform, that is so key with online learning, because you're gonna have that lack of motivation. You don't have, like, when you're in a brick and mortar classroom, you have that friend who maybe say, hey, did you do that assignment last night? Or I didn't, whatever they have you, or you might have that constant reminder from that lecturer every time you visit that classroom. Well, in virtual classroom is way different. You don't have a brick and mortar place where you go to, where you have a routine, where you sit in the classroom and you're constantly reminded about a lot of things. And if you're not self-accountable, you will find yourself behind the wayside. And I'm telling you this, and a lot of online students could agree with that as well too. So self-accountability is key. And in doing that, first of all, you got to understand the goal. What mission? What is the big goal? Why are you doing this? What do you want to achieve? My lecturer always tell me, don't enter an industry, don't get a degree just to enter an industry just to suck off it. You definitely want to get in there, and you want to be a changer in the industry. You want to provide something back to the industry, right? So find your reason why you're doing it, and understand that goal. And then also, to keep yourself accountable, set micro goals. For example, if I'm in semester 1 and I say, hey, I got a 3.5 GPA. Hey, next semester I'm going to get a 4.0. So set those small goals, and that's going to keep you definitely motivated. And then obviously, when you set those goals, challenge yourself. Challenge yourself. Everybody, I have found weakness even in my game consistently. A lot of people is like, hey, Naval, how do you find the time to work and go to school and all this stuff? And I literally could find way more time. And I hold myself accountable. It's like, wow, I had 1 minute 2 hours of pockets right there where I wasn't doing anything. I could have been learning. So, you challenge yourself and keep yourself accountable in regards to that as well too. And then do your self-assessment and reward yourself for those accomplishments. Ask questions and participate. With the virtual platform, one of the cons of it is that individuals tend to not ask questions. I really don't know why, but studies are there to show that on online schooling, people really don't ask questions, and then things become very confusing because you're not, with the teacher that experienced that, maybe their body language and those sorts. So to avoid a confusion, you want to ask questions. You want to become engaged with your learning content as well too. For my online learners, get engaged on what the discussion is. I know there's a lot of discussion topics based on a particular topic. Get engaged in that, and that's how you learn better. Because sometimes you will learn not just best through your lecturer, but maybe through your peers. So get engaged in that as well too. It helps to create a comfortable learning environment by being engaged. You feel more comfortable talking to these individuals, your lecturers and classmates, and participate in the class prayer group chat forums. I know University of the Bahamas have a group of students now have created a WhatsApp chat and in different classrooms. Participate in that. You want to stay abreast of what's going on, and now you're not in a physical classroom, and you need to use every medium of communication possible to stay in touch with your lecturers and your peers, to stay in touch with what's going on in your course. All right, now nothing is achieved without hard work, dedication, and consistency, and the picture says it all. And I was speaking to Ali right before we went on the webinar, and I was like, I'm sorry, Nathan. I went on the webinar. He actually said, "Why did you choose Michael Jordan and Kobe Bryant and LeBron James?" I think those three guys are sports phenomenons, and they exemplify hard work, dedication, and consistency. Since the passing of Kobe Bryant, you've seen that he's been very hardworking. He's been dedicated to his craft, and he's been very consistent with it, consistent with the routine and consistent with the practices. And that's something that you would have to do as well too. When you're going through any one of these challenges with the three topics we touched on, in order to accomplish any of those, you need to stay hardworking, you got to stay dedicated, and you got to stay consistent with it. And a lot of us would like to see whatever level of success compared to those three guys on the picture right there. But one thing is in common with them is those three things. So if you want to accomplish great things in regards to online learning and accomplishing your degree, whatever have you, it's important to stay dedicated, consistent, and practice hard work.
And Naval, we're gonna try to. You've been doing such an amazing job. We're gonna try to shake you here a little bit. We're gonna test you, and on behalf of everyone listening and viewing this webinar, if you could pick other individuals outside of the sports world who you think embody hard work, role models you look up to and help keep your motivation, if there are any individuals, what names would you throw out there?
I know one of them gonna kill me right now, but nonetheless, I have a few mentors. I have Mr. Anthony Robinson. His story alone always been motivating to me. I've had the privilege to know him for the past, I would say, 10 years now, and his wife as well too, Christine Robinson. They've exemplified hard work, dedication, and consistency, and it's good to see that coming from the husband and wife team. I always believe in that form of unity, and I feel that in order to accomplish, especially if you're married, in order to accomplish anything, it's good to have that that 1-2 punch, how I call it. Also, you have the Michael Akitis. He's one of my good mentors as well. I have, man, the list could go on and on, brother. The list could go on and on as well too. People who don't even participate in the sports arena, but you don't have to. And the good thing about it is like you just mentioned, now you don't have to actually pull it back to these three individuals. You see people in your life right now that exemplify those three things, and you can say, hey, I know that person they practice hard work, dedication, and consistency to achieve that, and that's somebody I want to model my game after in regards to that, right? In regards to whatever you want to achieve. All right, now I want you to control what you can control, right? I know this is a sensitive topic. Me and Nathan is trying to make it as humorous as possible, but the reality is a lot of things are moving parts right now in the economy. Every time you turn on the news, I have literally turned off the majority of the notifications on my phones from Market Watch, not to hear the bad news, but I want you just to be focused on the things that you can control, right? You can't control the consumption of your energy source. Like I mentioned, that's a variable cost, right? You can't control how you learn, how effective you learn in regards to learning on the fly, right? You can't control your work-life balance. You dictate that. And I want just to remind you, these are simple tips I know you could maybe explore many more tips than what I've shared here, but I just wanted to express to you that control what you can control. I don't want you to stress about what's going on around the world right now, which you don't have any control over. I want you just to control what you can control. Exercise regularly. That's something that you can do. You can maintain a proper healthy diet while at home. You have the capacity to connect with others. You can call your grandparents, do Skype calls. You could connect with people like that. Get your rest, and you take breaks. Those are the stuff that are also all in your control. And I just want you to be focused on that. Like I said, this is very there's a lot of uncertainty ahead. We have seen this is I don't even to speak this and tell this to my grandkids later on. God's spare life is going to be it's a crazy story. So, but I just want you to be concerned about what you can control. All right, don't stress about anything else out there. Just control what you can. Our Zest Wellness Instagram page. Guys, I had a real good workout right before this podcast. The webinar. And I'll be with the team down there. Zest Wellness have done a great job. Kudos to Katie, those. And you will be able to access and see those free fitness resources and podcasts and webinars just like this by following us at Zest Wellness CGI on our Facebook page and on our Instagram page. We have a whole list of resources. Donovan is always putting real good advice in regards to tailoring your diet, making sure that you're controlling your gut, making sure that you're taking in the right nutrition during this time as well too. You've seen some good resources from Sharon, one of our nurses on our team. She's been putting out real good advices, World Health Organization advices right now in regards to the face mask, the washing of hands and those sorts. And you'll stay abreast on what's also going on in regards to the respective jurisdictions in the Caribbean, like the Bahamas, Cayman Islands, and Bermuda, by staying connected with us through our Instagram and Facebook page at Zest Wellness CGI. And we also have a blog site. I read Katie's blog article, and she has protecting your mental health. And I spoke with that a little bit, but I want to tell you guys, I want you to go ahead and read that article. She's provided so much good resources there. She spoke about mental health in depth during COVID-19, and you can visit our blog by www.zestwellnesscgiblog.com. That's www.zestwellnesscgiblog.com. Also, we have Donovan did a good prequel to his Controlling Your Gut webinar. He did a great article on that as well, Controlling Your Gut. All right. All right, Nate, slide 25. I guess we could go with the questions.
Yeah, so we have just another minute or here, so we'll forego the Q&A. And Naval, I think you did a tremendous job. Let's end on, Naval, if you were to, for everyone who's listening and watching this webinar, if you were to say one more closing statement about the topics you covered: financial wellness, work-life balance, learning, being productive. If you could kind of give one more statement for us to leave this webinar with, what would you say?
I definitely would just go back on the last statement I made, Nate. I will just tell you, you definitely want to, in regards to you just want to control what you can. I feel like that's something I got to hamper down on. That decreased a lot of individuals' panicness right now during this COVID-19 fight. I've shared some great tips in regards to living lean or budgeting while at home, work-life balance, and learning on the fly. But I want you to focus on focusing on things that you can't control. This is really scary time. Like I said, my 80-year-old grandmother has never experienced nothing close to this before. So, but I want you just to be focused on controlling what you can. It's going to be a brighter day ahead as well too.
Fantastic. Hey, Naval, thank you. You're awesome, knowledgeable, and on behalf of every single member of the Zest Wellness team and our representation of Colonial Group International, thank you everyone for tuning in.
Thank you, guys.